If you've got a 15 to 17 Ford F-150 and you'd like almost 4 times brighter high beams and twice as bright low beams, watch this video. So we got the truck pulled into the shop now, and the first step in getting these headlights out is removing these two 7mm bolts from inside the fender liner. Set those off to the side. The next step is this little plastic retainer here. Get a pry tool under it. You could use honestly anything, flat screwdriver, whatever you've got available. Pull up on the center section and pry it out. So coming back down here toward the wheel liner, use a pry tool and just pop this plastic flare off if you've got it. Some trucks don't have it, and if your truck doesn't have it, you can just skip this step. But it should pop right off and come toward you like that. And you don't need to take it completely off to do this. Now, taking a pry tool, if you get behind this plastic piece here, you can kind of work it toward you and pop it free of its clips, like so. Just like that. Comes off pretty easy. So if you just grab down here, work it toward you, pops off just like that. Now there's two bolts over here on the side. There's one up here and one right here that you need to remove. And I put a little tape on this flare just so that I don't accidentally scratch it with my socket. These are 10mm bolts. Come off just like that. Now, I've got a couple more 10s. And then for whatever reason, all the way to the left here, there's an 8mm bolt. Not sure why Ford decided to switch it up on us midway through, but 8mm socket pulls this out. So now with all that hardware removed, we can finally pull this plastic support out of there. And on this truck, there were a few clips right here, and it was pretty challenging to show those on camera. The way you remove them, honestly, they're attaching this piece right here. The way you remove them is just press in on the center nub right here. Super easy to remove them. We just couldn't quite get the camera in there while I was working on them with my hands, but a pry tool pops them free, no problem. So we've almost got these headlights removed now. There's one 10mm down here to remove. And there are two up top, right here and right here. Go ahead and remove those. Then we've got this little black plastic spring-loaded clip right here. And if you just take a pry tool, flat screwdriver, anything really, lift up on it gently. Now just when you think you're done and there are no more bolts, there is one more 10mm bolt you need to remove. It's in here. A long extension is required to get at it. And if you unbolt that, you're now free to pull the headlight out. Now at this point, the headlight's ready to almost fall out of the truck. Pull it toward you and disconnect the wiring from the back side. Twist that and pull it out. Press down on this connector here. Pull it toward you. If it's dirty, might put up a little bit of a fight. There we go. And then there's one more T10 marker light up here in the top corner. Pull that out, set it off to the side. So we've got the headlight out of the truck now, and we can go ahead and install our new bulbs. So pull the dust cover off here. It's rubber and it just pops off like so. Set it off to the side. Twist the low beam bulb counterclockwise and pull it out toward you like so, and unplug the wire harness just like that. Now here's the new Supernova PerfectFIT bulb from Headlight Revolution. As you can see, it really imitates the way the factory bulb is set up, and what's great about that is it fits almost everything out there today. That's why we call it the PerfectFIT. It's bright, it's a great option, and on this truck, it's really tough to find a bulb that fits in here that'll allow you to put the stock dust cover back on. The V4 does fit, however the dust cover pokes up a little bit at the top, so you could technically get moisture or something in there. We don't want to deal with that. Take the supplied wire harness with your PerfectFIT bulb, plug it in like so. There's a positive sign right here on the bulb. Make sure that goes to the red wire. Then go ahead and plug the bulb connector into the Supernova connector like so. Now we can go ahead and install our bulb itself. As you can see, it's a little bit tight, and so once again, PerfectFIT, it does work. It does fit. You can put the dust cover back on, and it's really hard to find any other LED bulbs that will fit this truck and perform well. That's the other factor. You know, you could find something that'll fit, but does it actually perform? And as you're going to see in just a few minutes here, when we head over to the studio, these things are pretty bright. We can head over to our high beam here, which is this bottom one. Pop the dust cover off just like we did earlier. Grab your 9005 bulb. Twist the factory bulb counterclockwise to remove it. Set it off to the side. Clips in just like so, just like the factory bulb did. It's really as simple as that. So you can see that's not going to interfere with the dust cover at all either. We're this far. Like I said earlier, we've pulled 30 bolts out of the front of the truck to get this far. You don't want to be putting these bulbs back in your truck. So let's upgrade these while we're at it. We've got the T10 CAN bus light from GTR Lighting. It's amber. These things are insanely bright. They're a new product. We just got our hands on them a few months ago. They are insanely bright compared to these little guys here. As you can see, it's a pretty wild design. It plugs into this marker light stock here just fine, just like the factory one did. More importantly, it's not going to pop out of there. You would not believe the amount of cheap bulbs out there that you plug them in, install them in the headlight, and 1,000 miles later, you look in the front of your truck and you see a bulb laying on the bottom. You can go ahead and install that back into the headlight right now with it on the bench. And that just leaves the turn signal. For that, we're going to use the Armor Series switchback bulb from GTR Lighting. The cool part about the switchback bulb is when you're not hitting the turn signal, it's a bright white. It really modernizes the front of your truck. It's a really crisp, clean white color. And then when you hit the turn signal switch, it flashes a very bright amber. Instantly on, instantly off. Pop that out like so. Plug in the GTR Lighting bulb like that. Again, just look at the difference here. We've got this bulb here, which has been used in vehicles for, you know, decades. We've got this sharp Armor Series bulb from GTR Lighting. Really modernizes the front of the truck. And that can just get reinstalled like so. Just pop it in, twist it clockwise to lock it in place. It really is that simple. Now, the final piece of the puzzle, the resistor kit. When you order the turn signal kit for your truck from Headlight Revolution, we include everything you need, down to the T, to get this thing plugged in and working in your vehicle without hyper flash, without any flickering, without anything like that. We've done it all for you. We figured it all out. This little guy here is either T-tapped or soldered into your turn signal wires. It'll prevent hyper flash, strobing, flickering, any problems that you see with other kits. I'm going to show you guys how to do that right now. Head back to the truck and grab your turn signal connector, and I've stripped the wire loom back a little bit closer to the actual harness itself. Just, I don't need the resistor hanging way out here. And I've already tested the wires. The wires you need to connect to are the blue with green and the yellow with black on this side. Now, we did a very in-depth video on testing these wires and properly installing a resistor. If you have any questions at all, I highly recommend you check that video out. It's like 30 minutes long and it covers everything. Multimeter, test light, you name it. Whatever you have at home to do this job, I show you how to use it. We're gonna strip these wires back. I've got this sweet auto stripper here. It doesn't actually completely interrupt the wire, which I like. We're just trying to piggyback on this circuit right here. We're not trying to cause any real damage. Grab your resistor. Now, you could use the T-taps that GTR Lighting supplies in the kit. It's absolutely up to you. I prefer to solder it. I feel like it's just a cleaner, better connection. But like I said, you know, it's your vehicle. You can do it however you'd like to. Take one end of the resistor, just wrap it around one of the turn signal wires. take the other end and wrap it around that other wire. Now at this point we can solder it, tape it up, and then just mount the resistor securely to some metal so that it can dissipate the heat properly. So I've got those individual wires taped up nice, and I'm just going to throw one more piece of tape across all of them just to keep everything together. And then all that's left to do is mount this resistor to a sturdy piece of metal, and honestly right here is going to do just fine. So using the supplied self-drilling screw, go ahead and install it into the resistor first. If you do that and you accidentally slip with the drill and you drop the screw, it won't actually fall, it'll be stuck in the resistor. That should do just fine. Now we can finally reinstall the headlight. So, with your headlight all outfitted with all of the good LED stuff, bring it back to the truck and just start plugging stuff back in. Got our turn signal plug. Don't forget the T10 marker light up in the far corner here. With those three plugs connected, go ahead and just put the headlight back in the truck. And before you go too much further, I would recommend powering everything up, just making sure everything works properly. So I like to just throw these bolts back in real quick before I go to test the headlight, just so that the headlight can't fall out. But I'm gonna go power this thing up. I'll run over to the passenger side and install that quick, and then we'll bring this thing over to the studio and shoot it against the wall and see how these headlights perform compared to the stock bulbs. So we've got our F-150 pulled into the studio now, and we're taking a lux reading of the original headlights. And the lux is your usable light output firing down the road from your headlights. We're measuring at about 20 feet, and this came in at 650. Not a ton, not terrible either. It's kind of somewhere in the middle. We've got a nice beam pattern though, so we're gonna see if we can keep that beam pattern going, see if we can brighten it up a little bit with the PerfectFIT bulbs from Headlight Revolution. Now as you can see, we still maintained a good beam pattern. It still looks great. We've got our distinct left and right hotspot, very important when it comes to light output, and this came in at 1,650 lux compared to 650 from the factory headlights. That is a tremendous improvement. It's almost 3 times brighter. It's going to shoot down the road way further and illuminate things in the night. Now let's see what the high beam looks like. Now the factory high beam on these F-150s is actually not terrible. This came in at 1,650 lux, which really not bad. We've got a nice left and right hotspot still, but we picked up some light above and below the hotspot. It's going to let us see any tree branches, anything like that, anything we should be worried about at night. Now let's see what the PerfectFIT bulbs can do for this high beam. As you can see, this is significantly brighter than the stock high beams that this truck had when it came in. We've got our left and right hotspot still, so we've still got our distance lighting. We picked up some brightness above the beam pattern. Once again, that's good for any obstacles up above, any distance viewing like signs far in the distance, any deer you might encounter. We've got some more light down below and to the left and right. This is an awesome high beam for your F-150. This came in at 4,280 lux, which compared to 1,650 from the stock bulbs, that is awesome. That is, once again, 3 times brighter. It's gonna let you see things sooner. It's gonna make your nighttime driving experience that much better. As you can clearly see, the high beam on this truck is insane now. You'll never have that problem again. Driving down the road late at night, deer in the ditches and stuff like that, and you can't see where you're going, not a problem anymore. Now, if you need anything else for your truck at all, reverse lights, turn signals, cargo lights, anything for this thing, we've got them all figured out at our website, headlightrevolution.com. Thanks for watching.